When the world went quiet in the spring of 2020, the Myers home on the edge of town looked like every other house. Lights off by 10, blinds drawn tight, a place swallowed by silence. But inside that home, something else had gone quiet too, something far more permanent. For 3 days, the same kitchen light burned through the night, the same curtains never shifted, and the same delivery packages sat untouched by the door. Neighbors thought maybe the Myers were being careful, isolating like everyone else. Until one morning, a mailman noticed a note taped to the front door. 5 words written in shaky black ink: "Don't come looking for us." Daniel and Elise Meyer weren't the type to attract attention. He worked in IT, quiet and thoughtful, always with his phone in hand. She was a schoolteacher, warm, the kind who remembered birthdays and baked too many cookies for class parties. Their 2 kids, 9-year-old Sophie and 6-year-old Liam, were the sort of children who drew chalk rainbows on the driveway when the world outside grew too frightening to face. They were normal. Perfectly normal. Until the day they simply ceased to exist. Police broke down the door after the neighbors called in a welfare check. Inside it looked like a paused life. Dinner was set on the table. Plates cold, forks neatly arranged, glasses still half full. A chair was knocked slightly out of line as though someone had stood up in a hurry. The television was on, frozen on a local news channel. Upstairs, the beds were made, clothes folded, toothbrushes still damp. There was no sign of struggle. No forced entry. Just a strange, lingering stillness that clung to every surface. Then, in the master bedroom, they found another note, folded neatly on the pillow. It wasn't supposed to end like this. Forensics combed through the home, searching for fingerprints, DNA, anything. But the scene was too clean. Too deliberate. When investigators reached the basement door, they found it nailed shut from the outside. They pried it open. What waited below made even seasoned officers go pale. The basement was almost empty. No boxes, no dust, no cobwebs. In the center stood a single wooden chair, its legs scraping faint circles into the concrete. Facing the chair was a camera tripod. No camera, just the mount. On the floor beneath it lay a small flash drive labeled Day 15. The footage was simple but disturbing. Daniel Meyer sat in that same chair, eyes hollow, hands shaking. He stared directly into the lens. "If anyone finds this," he said quietly, "tell them it wasn't me. Tell them we tried to protect her." Then he glanced over his shoulder, muttered something that was never quite clear, and the screen glitched into static. No other files were visible on the drive, until digital forensics uncovered a hidden folder titled Her Voice. Inside were audio recordings. Heavy breathing, faint crying, and the unmistakable sound of a young girl whispering. "Mom said not to let him in," Sophie's voice said. "But he's already here. He's sitting with Daddy now." A chair creaked, then silence. Investigators began to piece together fragments of the family's last weeks. Sophie had been seeing a child psychologist before lockdown began. Night terrors, drawings of a tall shadow standing by her window. Her therapist called it stress, isolation, imagination. But in her final session, conducted over a video call just days before the family vanished, Sophie whispered something that still haunts the detective who listened to the recording. She said, "He's already inside." That night, the Myers home Wi-Fi router went offline at 2:14 a.m., never to connect again. For weeks, police searched the nearby woods, questioned neighbors, traced phone data. 3 days after the disappearance, Elise's phone pinged from a cell tower 30 miles away. CCTV from a gas station caught a dark SUV pulling in without headlights. The driver's face was obscured, but the passenger reflection in the window, brief, distorted, looked unmistakably like Daniel. Motionless. The car was later confirmed stolen from a psychiatric hospital where Sophie's therapist worked. Inside the Myers home, detectives kept returning to one detail: the child's drawing found on the fridge. Crayon lines, clumsy and uneven, showing a black house with no doors. When the basement was searched again, an officer noticed a vent cover slightly ajar behind the chair. Inside the vent were small scratch marks, uneven and frantic as if made by fingernails. Scrawled in marker beside it were the words, "We thought the virus was outside." By now the case had gone national. Every lead turned to dust. The flash drive was studied frame by frame, sound analyzed for background noise, but nothing fit neatly. Until one night, 7 months later, a sheriff in a small rural town 2 states away called in a report. A woman had walked into the station barefoot, clothes torn, face gaunt and gray with exhaustion. She claimed her name was Elise Meyer. In her hands she clutched a photo of her family. When officers asked where her husband and children were, she said, "They never left the house." When investigators returned to the Meyer residence that same night, they found the front door wide open. Inside, the dinner table was still set, the same plates, the same glasses. Only now there were no notes, no flash drive, no evidence that anything had ever been found there at all. The only thing different was the faint smell of smoke, and a new drawing taped to the fridge. It showed 4 stick figures holding hands standing in front of that same black house. And beneath it, written in a child's handwriting, were 5 words. "Don't come looking for us."